Oh, I'm gonna need a sponge.
Oh, sponge.
Oh,
water,
and I'm
I
gonna
assume.
need a board.
A board. Board? Sponge and the water's right there by you. And it's the water from this kind of clay, so.
Okay. So I kind of roll the coil and I'm going to stretch it out a bit. Trying to keep it kind of even.
Can you see okay, Kathy? Mm-hmm. Yeah, this looks easier.
I don't think it's as nice.
Uh-huh.
Huh. Yeah, so you can do something like that. I'm not doing the best job because I kind of keep moving here. But you can do things like that, all right? I could have gone farther, but
So
that's
that's
a
still
way.
too big for a handle?
Yeah, I would make it thinner, but I kind of started with it a little thick.
Thinner this way or thinner?
I would make it thinner this way. I think it's too thick this way. If you look, you know. It's
Oh, except
clumpy.
for a big jug.
So yeah, I would have kept going if I was going to really keep it going.
Okay.
That is something you can do. The other thing you can do if you're having trouble.
Do you want
is-
another board? Or?
No. Is to get your handle closer to being done. Right from the beginning. Trying to keep it pretty smooth. Okay, so you can see how much of the handle I've actually already made, right? Give it a little pinch up here. So something to hang on to. And you have less pulling to do.
Is that height okay, or do you want?
Huh?
Is your height okay, or?
Oh yeah. If I was going to make 20, I'd raise it, but for a
Uh-huh.
couple this is fine. Right, so I already pulled most of the handle. Now I've smoothed it out, and this is also, is that yogurt cup over there empty? Maybe I can make this work on that yogurt cup.
Some of them are.
Yeah, this may not work, I might pull it up.
I have something.
But let's say I cut this off sort of neatly, and I kind of made a little join area, and I scored and slipped it, and you can put it onto your mug.
Oh, this is a mug.
Yeah,
Okay.
I squeezed it too hard there, and I can finish pulling it.
Oh, so you really attached it. That's what you meant. Scored and
Yeah.
slipped it, attached it at the top.
Yeah,
And do you always attach them below the rim?
yeah,
Okay.
I do. And then you can attach them. It's called pulling the handle off the mug. Of course, you know, I'm working with the yogurt container and it's sliding around. I wouldn't have left it that thick. And then I would recommend drying your mug up like that, because when you have a really wet handle, you know, it wants to go like that. But if you have it going this way,
Right.
and your cup is not as
Hopefully your cup is heavier.
Yeah, yes, hopefully your cup is heavier. So that's another thing you can do, is you can get your handle almost made, right?
And then you
Right.
can really tell if it's looking good on the cup before it's sitting there all.
Yeah,
Like-
and then go back to the way that I pull my handles usually. So I'm not using the entire blob. I can make two handles out of this, right? So I get some of it started. I'm never turning this hand is the same every single time, okay? I'm not doing that. If I want to work on the clay from a different direction, I turn the clay. And I don't pull when I'm turning the clay. So once I have what I consider to be what I think my width across this way, change my hand from round, which was kind of smoothing it, to more flattened. I'm going to squeeze. Now I've already got a front and a back, right? You can see that? I'm going to turn it halfway around, halfway around, halfway around. I have a bump at the bottom. I'm going to pull it off. Because if I hit that bump at the bottom, every time it weakens it up above. I'm looking to make sure I don't have any crimps in my handle. If I do, I just squeeze that part off. That's okay. Right? Then I usually run my thumb down the middle. Don't have to, it's just the way I like to do it. Give it another pull. I'm going to cut it off, pinch it off up here where it's thick so that it's going to not fall off the table. I put my finger next to the table so that I don't accidentally press down and use the edge of the table to actually cut through the clay. Gently let it fall. You keep one hand nice and dry so you can put your thing back over your ear. Another thing that people will do is pull a handle. So here I am, it's lumpy, right? Just smoothing it off. So now that I feel like I've gotten it smooth and about the thickness I might want for my mug, I'm going to change my hand. I tend to work fast when I'm pulling a handle. It's not necessary. You can just, well, actually, the slower you go on the way down, again, it's like when you're throwing, if you're moving slowly, every little variation's really going to show up. If you're moving a little more quickly with your pull, any variation in your grip is going to be more spread out. Does that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't pull super slowly, but I guess it's the in between. You don't have to be fast. You know, I don't have to be going pull, 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 pull. I can pull. Pull. Get to the bottom. It seems like it has a lump. I always have a big pile of tails. Pull my thumb down the middle. And then oftentimes people will set them up like that.
Oh, wow. So cute.
Yeah. And then you're kind of getting your, I think that, well, I usually do it this way. And there's a couple reasons for that. And I think when you're making mugs in a series and you know what they're going to be like, this is easier to do because you know what the handle's going to be like. But when you're making mugs and you don't know, you know, you don't have a set sort of style, you're kind of a little more stuck with the curve that you've got here than with this. The other reason that I usually hang mine like this is that other kind of mug that I make, I haven't made it in a while, I pull them so that this end is really thin, or pretty thin, and I put my mug handle on from the bottom, and I loop it up, and I do this
I
kind
remember
of,
those.
remember those?
Yeah, so
and they
pretty.
have this sort of ribbon thing, and so having them hang down like that is preferable for me when I'm doing that kind of offset handle with the weird ribbon.
But which is the top? Oh,
Well,
the top.
normally you put it on that way,
Uh-huh.
right? Like this, and then, but I have that one style that I put on upside down, and it comes up and it has that ribbon.
Okay, so that's really pretty.
Yeah, so that's another reason why I hang them that way, is it facilitates that other way that I put my handles on.